and welcome to part 2 of this prerequisite videos uh, before we make our SQL predicate. So in the first part I told you about the about the global functions that we will be using, and I told you that we need some information before we start making the SQL predicate about the fields and the table in which the objects are stored in, specifically custom objects. And for that we have a knowledge document with the queries that will help us get that information. And so far from here we used only this query, and I say this can work, but sometimes it will not give you any results because maybe the artifacts were not generated, or I don't know, you're not using the object in an import or a field, or whatever the reason. And there is a second way to get the information you need, and this way it will never fail. uh, it will never fail, and you'll always get the information. And this is how you do it. In the application I have custom object like this one. uh, Let me go to the application composer so you can have a correlation between what I'm doing and with actually what it is in the application. And so the idea is, most of the times when you are building SQL predicate, you will need information like what is the table name in which your custom object is stored in, and what is the column name of the field, of the values from the field that you're planning to use. And for example, I want to get the column name for the column name in which the information that this field has will be stored in. And for this we'll be using this series of queries. The first thing to do is to find out the table ID of the custom object. You can use one of these two queries, A or B. Let's take this one, let's copy it, let's go in BI. I told you we'll spend a lot of time here in data model. Let's edit this, let's paste our query, and let's put here the object name. Let me actually just copy paste it from the application. By the way, this will be always the API name, not display name. Okay, and now so we got some information. The ID that we are interested in is this one. I will take this one from here and let's put in somewhere safe to be stored. I'll use notepad++. I'll just copy paste here what we got. Next we move to the third query here to find out the table name, and to find out the table name we will use the table ID that we just got. Right, copy this and replace it with ID. Hit OK, go to the data and view the results. And now we know that the custom object name OSC sales obj, it is stored in the table called ZCA underscore ref entities. Alright, just take this and let's put this for safekeeping. Next, we need to get a bit more information about our custom object, and we can use this query here. Actually, this query will also give you the results of these two, so sometimes you can just jump here to this one and use it. Here again we need the object name. Right. and if we hit here view, we see we get the object ID, the object name, we get the table name. So you can actually use this third query in place instead of these two to get faster the information. Okay, so now what do we have? We have the table name and we have the object name, but we are missing the column for the field that we actually wanted to know, and that is the account dynamic trace list. And for that we'll use something less fancy but quite effective. This is what we'll do. We will use the fourth SQL here, and based on this we'll build the code to find out column name. Let's take this from here, let's put it here in the in Notepad. Let's make it highlight the syntax to look prettier. Okay, so what do we need? Database object name. Yeah, actually is this the name, the value from this column, and here we actually put the table in which the custom object is stored in. Now we need the object name, and we'll take the value from here and we'll put it here. Now if we run this query, we should get all the records that are now in that custom object. And let's run it. Let's see how it looks like. And actually, let's actually go in UI and show. Let's see. Okay, and now let's go to our custom object, and now we'll see a bunch of records here. Right, so we can see we have a few records here. If we look here in business intelligence, we can go to the data. Let's put this number up, and now you should see the same number of records here. Right, but now we need to find out the column in which this field is stored, the account field. Trouble is, now we could simply, and what I will do is I'll open one of these records, I'll modify the value in that field, and then I'll query that record using BI and see which column got its value modified. Now here in our case I have so few records that it doesn't really matter if I modify the query to target that, to query exactly the name of the record that I modify. But what if you have a custom object with thousands of records? Then you will need to do this. So I'll show you the entire process. So I said I want to find out the account column. So I'll just put a value here and save it. Now I'll need to query for this exact record, and if we look here, we see we have a column, an out of the box column called record name. So we will just put an and here and say record underscore name equals with the name of our record, which in this case it happens to be this big number. Right, and just hit OK, and let's see if we get any results. We don't get any results because I believe I added a space by mistake right here. Let's zoom in a bit, see if I can zoom in. Right, so here you see, oops, I think I went too far, sorry about that. Okay, and here you see I added a space. Now if I click OK, it should give me the data that we need. So we just got the record. And now let's look here. I see we have two fields with a numeric value. Let's go back here. Let's change again. Let's see what else. What is actually the value that changes, and that will be our field. So yeah, let's take a look. We have these two, nothing else. Let's make a mental note of that, and let's save this again. Now go back here, query again. Let's see which one of them changed. Well, I think this is the one that actually got changed. Let's see. Or not. Let's see what happened here. Okay, let's do one more switch. We see now that this actually is the value that switches. So our account is actually in this column. Now why do you see this weird, I told you this is the party ID, why do you see this weird party ID? Is because in this environment there were some imports done and they were not done that right, and some of these accounts got corrupted. But regardless of that, if I now just say without any value here, this should disappear. For number 001 should be an empty value, and now we'll be sure that this actually is our column. So where is number 1001? I think it's in BI. I think the number actually, if it doesn't have any value, will actually not be returned, but let's double check. No, it's in here, and as we can see now we have no value under under this column. So it's clear. The column that stores the values of this field, it's this one. And now we have that information, right? And we found out the column name, we found out the table and the object name as is seen by the database. And now we'll have all the information we need to build some SQL predicates on this custom object. But we will do this process again when we actually start building SQL predicates. This was just a prerequisite to show you what exactly you should have in mind before you start building any SQL predicate. Now there is one more thing you should be aware of. You should always have this at hand. These are the Oracle CRM tables. You can find them if you go to the Oracle docs. If you go to the books, you have them right here, tables and views, Oracle Sales Cloud, and here you'll find all the tables used in Sales Cloud. If you want just to double check, here's the table in which our custom object is stored. You will find that actually here. There you go. Here's the table. So this was the second part of the prerequisites before you build your SQL predicate. So have in mind you need to have close at hand these two global functions. You need to have close at hand this KM. I showed you how to use it, and you need to have close to you the Oracle CRM tables. In the next video we will start building our first SQL predicate and use it in a role and see how it behaves in a real scenario. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.